proposal that is being put forward by the President Trump on Board of Peace on Gaza. Indonesia has decided to join. I know that Australia is still considering the invitation. What is shaping your thinking at this stage, Prime Minister? President Prabowo says that Indonesia joined the Board of Peace to push for humanitarian access and Palestinian self-determination, and will and could walk away if those goals aren't met. As Australia considers its position, how do you view that approach? Is it getting harder, you think, for countries like Australia and Indonesia to stay balanced when Washington and Beijing, wants to keeps everyone a friends aligned? I know since December, Australia has banned under 16s from most social media platforms. What has been the lesson learned? What has been the hardest practical challenges in enforcing this law, Prime Minister? We also know that you're a rock music lovers.
I am.
So yeah, because of that, I've actually prepared you. This is from one of Indonesia's legends, rock legends.
Fantastic.
God bless. They've been in Indonesian music landscape for 5 decades, and they're still performing now.
Awesome.
Prime Minister, this is God bless. All signed for you. Prime Minister,
Good to see you.
good to see you. A rainy Jakarta.
Good to be
Welcome
here.
for you.
It stopped.
Thank you
for
so
us.
much for doing this, Prime Minister.
My
It's not-
absolute pleasure.
It's not every day we get to walk through a Jakarta mall with a Prime Minister.
Well, it's a the rain helped take away some of the humidity.
Yes,
Yes,
yes. It's always good to talk
It's been a
after
good day.
a rainy day. How's your day so far, Prime Minister?
It's been fantastic.
Uh-huh.
We did, of course, we signed the treaty with the president, and we had a one-on-one meeting, and then we had good lunch with the president and ministers, Mr. Sugi and others.
So this is probably
it
the
was
most relaxed and
This is
normal
relaxed.
day.
Yeah, and then
For-
I
for
had
your
to do
whole
a
day.
press conference
Yes, I saw the
with
press
the
conference.
Australian media.
Okay.
So this is terrific.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time.
We had Indonesia does it so well. The ceremonies. We had the motorbikes with the flags, and then the horses.
Like
It's the
80
best.
horses.
The horse, 120.
Oh, really? Oh, you know better the
100
facts than me.
120.
I need to check my
I
facts
asked.
again. 120. Okay, so we're here.
Amazing. Please.
Thank you.
Hello. Hi. How you going?
So I thought we start the conversation with coffee.
Indeed.
Your order?
Can I get a? Oh, look at it. Fancy.
Would you like to order, sir?
Yeah.
We have coffee or non-coffee?
A copy would be great.
Oh, okay.
Coffee, yeah.
Coffee? Sorry.
It's from Australia, the Australian
Yeah,
Prime Minister.
yeah.
So coffee.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
A flat white probably.
A
like
flat
most
white,
likely.
yeah, indeed. That would be great.
Flat white, one flat white.
One flat white.
Thank
For the milk, fresh milk or oat milk?
Fresh milk's fine.
Sugar? No sugar?
No sugar.
No sugar. Is there any particular beans that you would like, or should I just like?
Or,
Because I have a very diplomatic coffee for you.
You pick.
Yeah, it's a Juara bean.
Juara bean?
This is actually being developed by Kopi Keamanan, an Australian alumni.
Okay.
The bean
Fantastic.
itself. So
Very good.
It's a perfect choice for our conversation.
That's good.
Yeah, so yeah, the Prime Minister will have that, the
Aye.
Juara bean.
Bari tinta manis.
Yes. And I'll have tea.
Tea.
I'm a tea person.
Tea?
I'm a tea person. So
I
yeah,
drink too much coffee, but it helps me to do my job.
definitely.
It's when Parliament sits, I have too
You need
much
to be
coffee.
alert.
Too much coffee.
Yep.
So we have question time at 2:00. So I have
So how many coffee? Like
One in
cups
the
per
morning,
day? You
probably
usually take
4.
4 per day. Oh
Yeah.
wow. Okay. Always the same thing? Always the same order, or you like to mix up a bit?
no. I mix at the end of just before question time. It's just 2:00 every day at 1:30. I have a piccolo.
Ah,
A little
the
one.
strongest one.
Yeah, bang.
Please, Prime Minister.
Keeps you alert.
So So,
And these people here are just trying to enjoy a quiet coffee.
Yeah, they're trying to stay cool and calm because, they know that the Prime Minister is coming. So you can say hi, guys.
Hi, how you going?
I think I briefed them too much try to stay cool when the Prime Minister came in. I think
they're very good. They did ignored us.
So we're at Kopi Keamanan, Indonesian brand that has actually made it to Australia, 3 branches.
Great.
Yes.
And we love our coffee.
Uh-huh.
And some of the big corporations like Starbucks and those ones haven't made it. They
So it's a challenge for Indonesian brand, right?
People like their little locals.
Uh-huh.
But if there's something that is unique,
Offer something
that's it.
different.
You've got to have a niche.
Yes, definitely. And it's also
Yeah.
co-founded by, again, another Australian alumni. Yeah.
Of which there is
I think
over
it's from-
200,000.
Wow, 200,000.
Yeah, there's so many.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just through universities or through TAFE.
Education has always been a really big part of diplomacy between
critical.
our countries.
And we now have 3 universities with presence here. Monash, Deakin and University of Western Sydney.
Yes.
And so that makes a big difference. And hopefully the model that I really like is for people to have Australian universities to have presence here, but to have also
Untuk menikmati ya.
Oh, this is my tea.
Dan
Thank you.
bersama.
And that's the
Flat white.
flat
thank
white.
you very
Flat
much,
white.
That's your request. You
is to have Australians studying part in Australia, part in Indonesia, and the same Indonesians studying part in both venues as well. Yeah, just that people-to-people exchange just changes the dynamic. President Prabowo, of course, went to Duntroon, did part of his military
Yes.
study
Yes, of
there.
course,
And I
of
think
course.
that's one of the reasons why he is so at ease with Australia and the
The
relationship.
familiarity that he feels. It's always been like a really good
People-to-people relations you can't beat.
Also, Prime Minister, I have a list of questions for you here, but I want to start off with,
Sure.
of course, with the education, because Australia offers scholarship to thousands of Indonesian students every year. What did that experience tells you about the relationship between 2 countries that cannot be measured by trade numbers?
Yeah, that's right. It's about investing in Indonesia's future in a way that's different from an aid program of which you can measure in dollars, this much amount of money. It's investing in human beings. And that pays back. It pays back directly because I think Indonesians studying in Australia help to contribute as well by being there, because Australians have friends and they engage and they get an understanding about Indonesia as well. 17,000 islands to our north, critical, 4th largest population, all of this giant, there's going to be a much bigger economy than Australia. And that is important to develop those relationships. But people, when they go back as well, they become ambassadors for Australia.
Yeah.
Because, the experience of students studying in Australia is overwhelmingly positive.
I'm a testament to that. I'm also an alumni.
From whereabouts?
University of Melbourne.
Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Scholarship from Australian government also.
Yeah,
Australian
well,
Leadership Awards.
It makes such a difference. And it's a great thing. And, you look at yourself and the reach that you have and the fact that you have that relationship with Australia. And I'm sure there's people who you met while you were at Melbourne Uni who you're still in contact with.
All the time, all the time. Prime Minister, we often talk about Indonesians studying in Australia. But how do we encourage more Australian to actually come here, learn the language, engage with Indonesia?
Well, I certainly want to see that. One of the things I'm proud of is the people in my cabinet who can speak Bahasa. and there's a couple, someone like Chris Bowen, who's our climate change energy minister. He decided about, while he was a minister, while he's been a member of parliament, to study in, somehow has found the time to do it, and that's important. Indonesia is Australia's #1 destination for visitation. And one of the things that I really want to do is to make sure that Australians understand that Indonesia is much more than Bali, which is obviously a very popular tourist destination. Bali,
It's
Lombok.
like a back door from Australia.
But other places as well. And I think even my presence here, I've been to Indonesia 5 times as Prime Minister in under 4 years, in 3.75 years. That, I hope, sends a message too about how important this relationship is going forward.
Prime Minister, I want to touch on the treaty that you signed today at the palace. It's called the Treaty of Common Security. You describe it as an extension of decades of trust and defense cooperations. What does this new step allow Australia and Indonesia do that we weren't able to do that before this new agreement?
It is such a step forward. It essentially is the biggest agreement that had been in place between Australia and Indonesia was one done by Keating and Suharto back in 1995. What this does, though, is to take that to a step further. It means for our common interests that there'll be engagement at a leader and ministerial level of how can we take things forward together so that our mutual interests are not just assured but expanded. So sometimes 1 + 1 equals more than 2. And in this case, that is certainly the case. It also identifies if there are any common threats to either of our nations that will engage constructively of how can we either as individual countries, recognising our sovereignty that is recognised as part of this as well, or are there things we can do together? So things as well, lifting up the capacity for our interrelationship between our armed forces, for example, training, drills, capacity on infrastructure, assisting each other with that. We have a lot of space in Australia. So for training for Indonesian armed forces can assist, training, President Prabowo going to Duntroon is an example of officers assisting there. We've provided, when I was the Transport Minister previously, we had ITSAP, which was the Indonesian Transport Safety Assistance Package, the training air traffic controllers. Maritime safety is a big issue here, obviously, as well. So all of those issues of engagement right across not just defence but infrastructure, transport, economic relationship as well, which is so important. And engagement in clean energy and the new economy that's expanding is going to be really important.
So if either country faces a security threat, this agreement calls for coordination.
Yes.
What counts as a threat, and when does that consultation becomes action?
When a country feels like it's being threatened. Now, that could be coercive or could be direct. But if a country feels like that, then there'll be high-level engagement and assistance on how can we help each other to deal with this. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean military. Of course, it could be diplomatic action as well, and really just making sure that the cooperation between the two nations is at a higher level than it's been before. And that's only possible because of the trust that has been built up now over a long period of time.
Treaties like this don't happen in a vacuum. They usually respond to the reality of the region. What do you read in how the Indo-Pacific is heading for the next few years, Prime Minister?
I think we live in a more turbulent world. where there is less certainty, where we have strategic competition between the two big superpowers globally, but we also have some of the norms that we had considered in the post-World War order breaking down in the power and authority of the United Nations, a land war in Europe that we thought that wouldn't happen again. Issues of trade being disrupted as well. So I think at times like this, middle powers, Australia and Indonesia are both significant countries, both members of the G20, members of ASEAN, leaders in this region. And us working together is, I think, a force for stability and security, and that leads to prosperity.
So this is about common security, not common enemy. But you mentioned two big powers. So is this really about managing United States or managing China or all the above?
It's about us dealing with each other, Australia and Indonesia.
Is it getting harder, you think, for countries like Australia and Indonesia to stay balanced when Washington and Beijing, wants to keeps everyone a friend's line?
Well, we live in a turbulent world. That's the truth. And at times like that, where there's less certainty about what is happening in the world, that's when more than ever you need the stability of consistent, stable, orderly engagement between friends. Because that reinforces, that's something that we can rely upon each other. And we've shown that, whether it be at times of natural disasters or just in the way that we've dealt with each other, particularly in the last few years.
You mentioned being balanced. It's also being tested in many parts of the world right now, especially in Gaza.
Yeah.
When we met at the UN last year, Australia has just formally recognized the state of Palestine. But the situation, the landscape of Gaza has shifted, specifically because of the proposal that is being put forward by the President Trump on Board of Peace on Gaza. Indonesia has decided to join. I know that Australia is still considering the invitation. What is shaping your thinking at this stage, Prime Minister?
Well, we're considering the options that we have and what it means going forward. But we certainly welcome President Trump's initiative, and we welcome the plan that was put out just after the United Nations General Assembly.
Yep.
It is impossible to see advancing of a two-state solution, which we support, State of Palestine, State of Israel, living side by side in security, without the United States being involved, playing a role. And hence, that is why that's important. And I know that Indonesia has played a really important role as well. President Prabowo's speech to the United Nations, where he committed to some Indonesian presence there as part of a stabilisation force and rebuilding of Gaza, was very important. And the New York Eight, as they're known, the Islamic majority countries that met and advanced a position that's pretty consistent with the position that Australia has held as well, which is wanting to see a two-state solution as a way of coming through what has been a heartbreaking period. The Hamas atrocities of October 7, but there's so many innocent lives being lost in Gaza and the devastation that has occurred there. Sometimes out of a crisis can come a solution that is least expected. And I'm an optimist by nature, and I sincerely hope that there is an advance. I want to see Palestinians having the same opportunity that Israelis have to live a fulfilling life. And at the moment, that's just not possible.
Yeah.
And that is why I think Indonesia is playing a really important role in that.
President Prabowo says that Indonesia joined the Board of Peace to push for humanitarian access and Palestinian self-determination, and will and could walk away if those goals aren't met. As Australia considers its position, how do you view that approach?
I think it's perfectly understandable, and from President Prabowo's position, I think it is positive that he wants to make a difference, and that Indonesia wants to make a difference. We haven't had historically a great role in the Middle East. Australians, I think, want two things. They want Israelis and Palestinians to both be able to exist without innocent lives being lost, without the trauma that we have seen, and the extraordinary loss of life that has occurred there. They also don't want conflict brought to Australia as well, which there has been tension in Australia over these issues. So we will continue to look at the border peace. We'll continue to consider these issues. We'd want to as well make sure, as a country that's always supported multilateralism, that there's nothing there that undermines the United Nations and the role that it plays.
So it's a very important factor
as well.
for you, the United Nations involvement, because obviously this board sits outside that framework.
Yeah, that's right. And but if something can contribute positively, then that's a good thing. We'll continue to play a role that we can play, I think, a small role, but a positive and constructive role. I think that Australia's recognition of the state of Palestine, along with the UK and France, and Canada, was a positive move, which I think helped to create the conditions for what occurred with President Trump meeting with the New York Eight, and for the ceasefire to be put in place, and now for aid to be flowing better than it was before.
Just one last question about the board, because we know the board is chaired personally by President Trump, with his son-in-law is running the executive board, and no Palestinian in the senior bodies. How much does that structure and leadership will affect your decision?
We'll examine it as a whole. We've been very much focused on domestic issues as well. We had the tragedy that occurred with the terrorist atrocity on December 14 at Bondi.
So sorry for that.
And we've been very much focused on that. So we'll take our time as we do. One of the things I pride myself on is we run an orderly, considered government that don't rush to decisions. We will talk with like-minded partners, but we'll give every support to Indonesia for the role that it's playing in trying to support advancing peace in Gaza and the West Bank, which is what we want to see.
So I want to focus on a very domestic but a very much international issue as well, something that we talk about also at UN, how to protect children online, something that Australia is very keen on doing that. I know since December, Australia has banned under 16s from most social media platform. What has been the lesson learned? What has been the hardest practical challenges in enforcing this law, Prime Minister?
It's been a huge success. Frankly, given it is world leading, it could have been expected to have more bumps than it has. But it goes across 10 platforms. They are all complying. It's up to the platform to ensure compliance, that they do the best they can to take responsibility for either pausing or deleting accounts of children under 16. In the first initial period, just a matter of weeks, 4.7 million accounts were deleted or paused until the person turned 16. And part of what we have had to deal with is, and in Indonesian terms, that's not a big number, but in Australia, of course, we only have a population of 27 million. Such a large percentage has already been done, and that was just early on. The companies have to report to us every month of what the figures are to the body that is running this, which is our e-safety commissioner in charge of safety of people online. And the compliance has been pretty strong. Some people who have got caught out, of course, because they've put online, I'm still online, and that alerts the companies that they need to have action taken against them. One of the things we've found already with school going back just this week in Australia is that students are talking about it themselves, young people, and talking about with their teachers about the experience they had of not being online. We've as well encouraged a range of other activities as well and are supporting that. We want kids to be kids. We want them playing football or cricket or netball or tennis or swimming, whatever it is they want to do. We want them talking to their friends directly as well. We want them having those experiences. We want them engaging with their families, having picnics or doing whatever activity, but not just engaging online, because for many young people who are growing into adults, we want them to define and be confident about who they are, not because of what they're told they are online. We had figures of 13% of young people had been encouraged to take their own life online by someone, either a peer or randoms. There's issues of grooming online. There's a whole range of dangers out there. And it's been well received by parents.
How about by the kids themselves? Is there like a retaliation effort going on?
Largely, it has been pretty good. There is some people don't like it. And one of the things we've had to deal with, of course, we've provided increased mental health support as well.
Okay.
So that for some young people, it will be difficult. We acknowledge that if they've been used to just scrolling and being online for 6 hours a day, it's like an addiction. It can have that impact on not just young people, it must be said. So it has been successful as well, to the point where a number of countries, including here, there is important action where we're cooperating and exchanging the experience with Indonesia. But Spain just this week has announced it will ban under 16s. Denmark has moved. New Zealand.
But with different approaches. I think Australia is the first with a full ban under 16s.
We went the full bit.
Yeah. Well, Indonesia with Pepetunas and some countries that you mentioned in Europe, I think they're more tiered consent-based models. How do you see those different choices?
Well, some are now engaging. Spain are doing our model. And I think more and more that will happen.
Which is you think that's the most effective way? Are other countries being too cautious, you think, Prime Minister?
Oh, look, it's up to other countries to take their own path. We took a view that if you're going to do this,
might as well full force.
Go the full bit, because the pushback will be the same, and it will, if it is the law, which it is, but the penalties are for the companies, not for the individuals. You're really sending a message out there. It's like you have laws about seatbelts or wearing helmets on motorbikes or drinking in a hotel drinking alcohol. You have to be 18 in Australia. Now, last weekend and this weekend, I'm sure there will be young people in Australia who will get a beer or a glass of wine in a hotel who shouldn't. That doesn't mean the law is bad. We accept as well that there will be imperfect application of this. So we've gone into that with our eyes wide open and we've said that that's the case. But what really influenced us as well is that the schools that had banned their phones in schools, where they either aren't allowed to bring them on the school grounds or they put them in a locker and collect them at the end of the day, have seen their education capacities and skills rise. They've seen behaviour get better, kids be happier, less conflict, and it works as opposed to people, while they're trying to learn maths or English or science, being engaged on their phones.
Well, in Indonesia, we're dealing with a much larger population and younger online. 140 million social media accounts, I think, with children as young as 8 and 9 going online.
Yeah.
Do you see like a real collaborations on making sure the platforms have the same standards in the region, so they're not, stricter in Australia but much looser in larger population in Indonesia?
Well, I hope so. And one of the things that our measures have proven is that the argument that social media companies can't do anything about what is on their platforms has been proven to be not correct. What we know is that social media companies will know more about a 14-year-old than perhaps their parents do in terms of what their interests are, who their friends are, who they're engaged with, what they're looking at, all of that. And so the social media companies have had no problem immediately shutting down 4.7 million accounts.
So they have that capacity.
They have the capacity, and we know that that's the case. And we also know, with new debates that are emerging, artificial intelligence and the use of completely inappropriate nudity mixing with real people's images and that abuse that has occurred, they've got to shut down those things. Social media companies have a social responsibility, and our legislation's about making sure that that is understood and enforced. Working with them, social media, of course, can be a fantastic thing. I communicate with Australians through the range of social media platforms, and your success is an example of communication through social media. So we're certainly not hostile to it. It can be a liberating force. When I was first coming to this region, when I first came to Indonesia, I didn't have a mobile phone or anything. It was very different getting around.
When was that?
Oh,
Remember, recall?
Well, I'm showing my age here. Well, in the 1980s.
Okay, yeah.
And it was just very different. We didn't, people weren't emailing or texting. It was just a different way. But one of the things that we did do was it forced you to communicate.
Yeah.
So you ask someone, where is the coffee shop that has a good coffee? Can you recommend, rather than looking online? And that's a skill that you picked up and that you learn. And we need to make sure that we don't have generations that are looking at their device and not looking at engaging the way that we are now, which is much more pleasant than if we were texting each other.
So we're very much looking forward on how Australia is actually stepping up and be the role model for all.
Well, we're going
parents,
to continue to...
And I hope some lesson learned can also be...
Well,
we
that's
can
right.
also learn from how is it the enforcement going in Australia.
And we're learning from the way that Indonesians is rolling out some of the changes too, and they're working with our e-safety commissioner on it.
How's your coffee, by the way?
It's great.
You like it?
It's really good.
Okay.
It's really good, and I'm a very hard.
So it's nice. Yeah,
I'm a very hard judge. So.
Okay, so it's Juara bean. We can
And it's
probably get you some
it's
to
very
go back
good.
home. Yeah. And we also know that you're rock music lovers.
I am.
You are, right?
I am,
we
absolutely.
did
I
our
used to be a
research.
DJ.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Really?
For charity events and for different things. Yeah, just a bit of fun.
Like what sort of like music do you usually?
I like very much independent rock music, if that makes
Okay.
that sort of genre. Yeah, so
So this is a DJ / politician. That's why you're so relaxed with people.
yeah, well, it's just a bit of fun. We started off. I did one for a charity that deals with helping young people who are outside of society. They might have got mixed up with homelessness, drugs, or issues. And there's a charity called RecLink in Australia that try and connect them back up with society through arts and sport. So it was begun by a whole lot of musicians.
Okay, I see.
Paul Kelly is a musician in Australia, Tex Perkins, and
This is way
bunch of
before you
people.
started joining politics.
Well, yeah, the very beginning of political
Do you still DJ now?
involvement.
No?
No. I kind of don't have time
between
now.
meetings and signing treaties and making sure the law is.
But I still do things like we have there's a contest every year, every January, the hottest 100.
Okay.
And you pick the 10 best songs you've liked, and it's a vote, and Australians listen to it.
So you would have your
On
list.
the Triple J, and I always put in, and I always get comments on my social media saying, which one of your staff members did this? And it's like, no, it's me.
So yeah, because of that, well, I've actually prepared you. This is from one of Indonesia's legends, rock legends.
Fantastic.
God bless. They've been in Indonesian music landscape for 5 decades, and they're still performing now.
Awesome.
Prime Minister, God bless. Yeah.
That is the great thing about being my age, is that there is bands too, some of which have broken up, but then they come back and tour. Oasis I saw
Oh,
last
really? Did you
year.
really? Oh,
yeah,
my
it was
God.
fantastic.
This is God bless, all signed for you.
Oh, fantastic.
Hope you can.
Thank
know.
you very much.
Thank
That's
you.
wonderful.
Yeah, this is their anthology, all the best musics here. This is Ahmad Albar, very much the icon of
Yeah.
the band, an icon of Indonesian rock legends. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. To add to your collection.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Rock diplomacy.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Fantastic.
so much, Prime Minister. Yeah.
And I have a little gift for you.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, Prime Minister. Can I open it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Something to
Didn't
remember
have to do
Australia
this.
for.
Oh, I never left my mind, Australia. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, this is so special. It matches with my blazer also.
Indigenous, of course.
Ah, okay. Wow. So this is, let me see. Yeah. So I think this is batik, right? But with
With a sort of connection with, there's a lot of, one of the interesting things about Australia and Indonesia, because one of my first visits here as PM, I went to Makassar.
oh, okay.
And
That's
the
my
tra-
hometown, Makassar.
The trade between Makassar and the Yolngu, the indigenous people, goes back hundreds of years, well before British
I think
arrived in Australia.
the design is from the Aboriginal, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so this is Indonesia and Australia woven into one piece.
exactly.
Prime Minister, one last question relating to this. If Indonesia and Australia's relationship can be described with music, what kind of music would it be?
I think, well, there's a range of things
Okay.
that would fit. All about relationships, I think. Never Tear Us Apart by NXS.
Oh, that's never tear us apart, yeah.
Or Stand By Me.
Stand by me.
I like the John Lennon version.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Thanks again, Prime Minister.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and
Thank
then-
you.